Hello everyone, my name is Hike. A few days ago, a week ago to be more exact, I was very frustrated about myself. It was the night before an exam, around 10 p.m., and I still hadn't studied for the test. I knew it way before that it was going to be a hard topic. It was a physics test. I had not paid attention to any physics class throughout the semester, so I knew how hard it would be. And I had the whole weekend to prepare. You know where I'm going with this. I had the time as well, but still, there I was. Just procrastinating till the very last minute. And the worst thing is, even though I knew how cooked I was, I would still want to give myself breaks in between exercises. And it wasn't like small breaks, it was like really long breaks. Around 10 p.m., I would do an exercise, go to my bed, take a 15-minute break, and just watch YouTube and Instagram instead of actually studying. And of course, I was disgusted by my act, but I could not find the strength in me to change my behavior. And in my college, we have this thing called substitution test, which means that you can skip an exam today to make another one towards the end of the semester, but with all the topics from the previous tests. It's very high risk, right? Because in exchange for giving yourself more time, it's a harder test. So it's really not recommended. And I had already chose to do that for another class that I'm taking. And so it's going to be just more work and more work. And quite frankly, I've just been dragging myself over and over and over again without making any change in attitude. And I went to sleep that night absolutely furious at myself. Very angry that I was falling behind and that I would not be able to take the test because I knew nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. And just because I was too lazy and didn't organize myself. So I was thinking, right, why is it that I lack the strength to be better? Why is it that we try so hard and fail so miserably, even when all the cards are at our hands? And the next days, I went to school and I didn't even want to talk to anyone. I would just put my head down, put my earphones, and just study by myself. I wouldn't even listen to the teacher. I would just try to learn things alone and do something for a change. And that has been my attitude so far. Because you know what the problem is? I think on our day-to-day life, we make some mistakes and we think life will balance it out at the end of the day. I could very well do the test in a few months and do fine and not have to pay the consequences for my laziness. And there are moments where bad things happen to you, and just in a couple of days later, you feel better, so you don't even notice. You think that no matter how bad you fuck up, your life is going to be this constant line, always. And every time you make these mistakes, you don't even notice, but you're stacking them up. And by refusing to learn from them, you're just going to keep making it worse and worse. And at some point, the ship will sink. That's just my pessimistic view. Maybe you don't agree with me. I don't know. All I know is that I want to change right now to avoid, problems in the future. I need to reclaim back control of my life right now. And I think you should too. That night I felt something I had never felt before. And I think I felt different because not because it was like a screw up worse than all my other screw ups. I had worse things happen to me. It's just that I think after all these years, I finally reached my limit. I felt this anger, and it's not that I'm being hard on myself. It's exactly the opposite. I think I'm not being hard enough. And all I want is to save myself before I drown. We usually tend to admire that person who, when something happens to them, where there's a problem ahead, will just keep composure and deal with it by being calm and reasonable and cold-headed, right? That's cool. That's fine. But I'm making this video to tell you that I want you to think about these moments in life where you have a choice and you choose to ignore it. And I want you to really feel the emotion that comes out of you. And I want you to use that as fuel. I want you to take this problem very personally. And I want you to use it to change into a better person. I don't think that's being hard on yourself. I just think it's taking back something that should have always been yours to have. That's it. Have a good one. See you next time.